So hello and welcome to another Wraggy's video. I'm going to talk about something that I'm going to be absolutely candid. I'm going to be honest. Although I will not name names, I will not name areas, and I will not name breweries or pubs because in the beer world, the government are basically killing the world of beer. You know, if you don't know and you haven't understood already, their taxing of the world of beer is killing the breweries out there. It's certainly killing pubs. It's certainly, you know, not all pubs. Some pubs are doing very well. Profit margins are ridiculously low. They're having to sell a shitload of beer, um, to make their existence because of, how the ball game is. So, I'll keep this, and if you're a pub, so we'll go in, we'll digest into a story here. So, literally, a good 6 months ago, maybe slightly more, maybe slightly less, went into a certain pub and had two halves. I always have halves because I'm promoting breweries. Whenever I drink, I promote breweries. Don't get paid for it or anything like that. Put it on social media. They use it, they may not use it, they may not even give a toss, but I do it regardless. It's some will like it, some won't, regardless. So went into this pub, a pub that 3 or 4 years ago I said was the best pub in Nottingham. It got literally 10 lines of cask. Most of them lines are ever changing. Although I did find out that literally 2 or 3 are permanently stuck in the same thing because the pub is tied to probably Heineken or one of them brands. It is what it is. They don't have keg lines on, albeit lagers, which aren't not keg beers. For the one, apart from bloody Beavertown, which I couldn't give a toss about. But anyway, so yeah, the first point of call was about 6 months ago. Two breweries that I know deliver great beer. I know this because I know the breweries. I know one of them personally. In fact, that one brewery, I know them so well. They were at my wedding, so and I absolutely love them to bits. And had 2 beers that night, and I said to the upper drinkers who were with us, I says, "It's not me, is it? I'm drinking the beer." He says, "It's not me, is it? That beer's not right, is it? These beers aren't right." There were 2 beers the same night. Fucking hell. Cabbage. Vegetables, cabbage, and all sorts of flavours coming through, and I'm like, oh fucking hell. So I'm not wrong. Because sometimes you have to. Sometimes, let's be fair, you have to check your own. I better be careful because I ain't got much time. You have to check what your own taste buds. Yeah. That was that night, and I didn't contact the breweries. I thought I left it. Maybe it was a bad night for the pub. Went in again, certain time after, again, two beers, not in great form. And I'm like, oof, this is a pub that done amazing beers. They've had beer festivals. Used to really get on with the lad who did the beer buy-in. He left. It's a very busy pub. Don't get me wrong. They aren't struggling. Very busy pub. Whether I'm unlucky, and which you bloody aren't. And then yesterday, so we'll fire forward to yesterday because I'm obviously looking at the time. Went in on the bar, lots of the usual suspects. You know, the range of beers is it's not the greatest. Seem very reliant. Whoever's choosing the beers, you know, I'd love to choose the beers for pubs. You know, even if they just gave me tokens for beers and said, you know, we're not going to pay you, but here's some tokens for, you know, so many pints, fair dues. You know, that'd pay for me and the wife. Well, good. You know, and I'd love to do that for pubs and get them breweries that none of their mates have got, you know, and really bring the clientele from not just local, but from further afield to the pub and think, hold on a minute, they've got that brewery. I've never had that brewery. They come, they're like, Jesus Christ, that's a fantastic brewery. And if anything beer reviewers can do, which we should be able to do, because we review enough beer, is the fact that we can say to pubs, look, we've tasted this beer, it tastes fantastic. Get it on cask, come on. You could even promote it on your channel, you know, and do a thing to support pubs and say, look, this is the way we do it, you know. Beer reviewers, on the whole, aren't here to slag beers off. You know, literally 99.9% of beer reviewers are there supporting pubs and breweries. You know, they will only, if it's a beer's really bad, then they're going to say something. Yeah, and usually it's from Aldi, but you know, but and again, I've got to watch time, so I don't go on too long. Yesterday, went into this pub, looked at the bar, 10 lines, 10 casks. Again, literally, the 3 permanent casks. I want interesting things. So I've had them, yeah. There's 7 left, and it's like, yeah, but you've had these on every time I've come in, or you know, more than enough times. There's one brand new one. I thought, I've not had that. It's from a brewery I absolutely love. I will not name the brewery. You know, they are big friends of Wraggy's beer reviews. I won't name them because I know they will never ever put a beer out that's substandard. So I know this, and it's as simple as that. Was at the pub, and I'm like, I did a mini beer review, and I've not uploaded it yet for obvious reasons. I'm going to upload it and send it only to the brewery, not to the pub, to the brewery. Pub, you know, they're doing their thing. They need to sort their ways out. I drank it and it looked good. It was a hazy beer. It looked good. Drank it and I fucking hell. And it was wrenching me. I'm like, surely this isn't right. And I did a mini beer review and I'm like, oh, it's really pokey, and I'm fucking pokey in the extreme. And again, it wasn't the beer. Literally, so far down the beer, our good buddy comes to us and says, somebody after you bought that beer, he took a sip and he says, that's off, mate. That's off. Get that off. And I assume they took it off straight away. So fair play on the bloke there and then, you know. But, you know, if you're a pub, you know, literally, you know how many pints you're selling of each beer. Once it gets so far down, you only need a sip of a beer, or as you're pouring the beer out, you look, and I've had this in many pubs where they're pouring the beer out to you and they said, sorry mate, it's gone. Fair play, I'll choose another beer. This didn't happen. Maybe because it's hazy, I don't know. You know, I'm not going to blame the bar staff. They may or may not be, you know, used to certain things. But it, you know, it might be a training thing. You know, there's lots of issues it could have been. I'm that side of the world isn't to me. My world is tasting, and if it don't taste right, you know. And I put myself as a member of the public. I don't put myself as a beer reviewer or anything like that. I put myself firmly as a member of the public who's come out, who's gone to a pub, He's looked at a beer. Oh, that sounds good. I'll have that. And you get that. You walk. You go out into the garden. You're drinking the beer. And you're like, fucking hell, that's rough. And yeah, it was. And I've got to be absolutely honest. And it's why I've not mentioned pub names. I've not mentioned brewery names. I've not even mentioned the day I went out and did it. It will become apparent to a lot of people anyway, because I go to certain places on certain days, and you know, it's not hard to figure this out. And a lot of the brewery industry locally know me, you know, and I'm not an arse. I'll never be an arse. It's not the way I am. I absolutely love the brewery world. I want the breweries to succeed, but there's a moment where you're like, oh, come on, cabbagey, not great tasting, even though I know the beer's hazy, when it's a beer that's not bloody hazy. And this has happened, and it's literally 5 visits. It's not just one visit, it's 5 visits culminating in yesterday. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sakes, the beer's tasting fucking gut wrenching. What the hell's going off? You know, and it's a popular pub. You know, it's not a pub that's struggling, no, but it will do. I'm sure beer sales will go down eventually. But in any area you go drinking, you don't want a pub to fail, because if a pub fails, it's one less reason to visit an area. When the reasons become less to visit an area, it's all on one pub, or 1 or 2 pubs, 2 or 3 pubs, and then it makes it more difficult for people to come to the area. So the more magnets you get to come to the area, the better it is. There are people that are lager drinkers, there are people that are beer or cider or spirit drinkers. You know, it is what it is. We are what we, or wine drinkers even. But it's the magnet. And this one pub is in the area where it is, I won't tell you the area, is a big magnet. There are 2 major magnets in that area, the big magnets. There are other places that feed off these places, but these are the big ones, and one of them was shit beer.